Thank you very much, Speaker. My question is to the Premier. The Premier said yesterday that, quote, we won't see electricity prices rise because of a reckless cap-and-trade plan. Yet, the independent electricity system operator, the energy experts the Premier refused to consult, say otherwise. Recent IESO documents reveal that plugging in as few as 4 electric vehicles in some neighbourhoods could cause an overload. An overload in a single neighbourhood.
4.
Our electricity system simply cannot handle the extra demand without billions of dollars of new transmission and distribution lines, as well as new power plants. Speaker, the climate change plan does not include a single dollar for electricity system upgrades. Not a single dollar.
Question.
How much will hydro rates have to rise to cover the Premier's irresponsible plan?
Mr. Speaker, I know the Minister of Energy is going to want to weigh in on the supplementary, but Mr. Speaker, this is a perfect example of this party once again saying, don't do anything. Don't tackle climate change, Mr. Speaker. Don't make any advances. Don't invest in electric vehicles. Don't invest in the charging stations that we're investing in so that electric vehicles will have a longer range, Mr. Speaker. Don't do anything. Put your head in the sand, pretend that climate change isn't happening, and hope that somehow our children and grandchildren will solve the problem, Mr. Speaker. We're not going to do that. We are tackling this. We're going to work with industry. We'll work with the electricity system. And remember, Mr. Speaker, we've been getting flack from the other side for the upgrading of the system that we've done. The 10,000 kilometres of line that we've put in, they've been giving us a hassle for the last 5 years, Mr. Speaker. We're not taking lessons from them. We're tackling climate change. That's what we're doing.
Be seated, please. Be seated, please. Order. Supplementary.
Premier loves to shout at me, but it's the IESO that's saying it, not me. Mr. Speaker, it's not just electric vehicles that will cause bills to rise, it's also the phase-out of natural gas. The Globe and Mail broke the news this morning that despite the Premier's repeated claims, Cabinet approved the policy of phasing out reliance on natural gas. That means $3,000 more every year for three-quarters of Ontario businesses and families just to heat their homes and buildings.
Member from Glengarry, Prescott Russell.
But it also means more stress on the electricity grid. Private sector estimates peg the upgrades at, Speaker, $200 billion. Since not one more dollar from the cap-and-trade plan is going to improve the electricity grid, will the Premier tell Ontarians that their hydro bills are going to go up by another $200 billion?
Wow. Thank you. Premier.
Minister of Energy.
Minister of Energy.
Mr. Speaker, I'm sure the critic for the opposition is disappointed that our 2016 budget announced that cap-and-trade will take $24 a year off residential bills, and commercial rates will, on average, not increase at all, Mr. Speaker. And I'm sure the member understands that we do have a surplus of electricity at the present time, Mr. Speaker. Plenty of time to transition. We have a surplus that will take us through into 2022, 2023, Mr. Speaker. And, Mr. Speaker, he doesn't have the word conservation in his energy plan, Mr. Speaker. We have been saving dollars in the system, Mr. Speaker, from conservation. If you take Campbell's Food, their combined heat and power in Etobicoke, Mr. Speaker, they're taking 400 megawatts off the grid, Mr. Speaker, with that program, and that will continue to happen with all of our cap-and-trade programs, Mr. Speaker.